Oh my god! I'm still trying to think. Oh, I have chills, dude. No, I don't. Oh no, no, I don't want to talk about this. I can't even look at it. Hey friends, it's Arius. So today we are going to be looking over some photos taken throughout history, and a lot of these photos may not seem like much when the average person sees them until you look at the background behind each and every one of these photos, because I guarantee you that as innocent as many of these photos may look, a lot of them have a very disturbing background. Now, surprisingly, a lot of these photos, I want to say almost all of them, have nothing to do with Japan, which is like the core of my channel if you're new here. So I'm going to go through them, and not only am I going to be giving my reaction to these, you guys are also going to be given a little bit of a history lesson, which I know is quite of a weird feeling to actually leave with something valuable after a reaction video. But we are going to try our best here, and I'm going to go through with them with you guys. Okay, so for our first photo, it doesn't look like much. We have a content young man smiling in the distance. He's wearing a suit and tie, and considering it's in black and white, I'm gonna guess that maybe this is taken around the 1950s. Now, I don't know how many of you already know who this is, but I do feel like his work has definitely gotten a lot more popular within the past year for whatever reason, but this man's name is William, I feel like I'm gonna butcher the last name here, Utermohlen, and he was a figurative artist as he was growing up, and here is some of his work right now. He definitely goes more into the abstract field in art, so it's really fascinating stuff. And unfortunately, with this gifted artist, in 1995 he was actually diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease. It's basically mostly common in the elderly. Unfortunately, those who are unlucky enough to experience this, their brain starts to age also, and it gets smaller and smaller, which causes a lot of the memories that you've built along your life to start fading away. So as time goes on with Alzheimer's disease, you start to forget your family, your friends, even yourself, and then eventually it comes down to even basic human functions, to the point that you need a caretaker 24/7. It's almost equivalent to being dead. This artist, William, was one of the unfortunate people that was diagnosed with it. So after that, he started a project by making a self-portrait of himself every year after he got diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and this is where the real creepiness starts. So here are the photos, and you can see the first photo here, this is just a sketch of himself, and it's beautiful and it's very detailed. But then the next photo that we have here, it's a lot more solid colors, it's a lot more distorted, and then as the years progress, it just becomes more distorted. And what is really sad is towards the end, you can kind of see that he almost doesn't even have the energy to keep drawing on the paper. But definitely he has lost his ability to even draw. But I think that this project was a brilliant idea that he had, and I'm sure that maybe he told somebody to remind him to draw himself as the disease started to get worse for him, because most of us just can't really comprehend what that fully means, to forget everything, to forget who you are. So I feel like his art really kind of expresses that in a very morbid but realistic way, and as disturbing as this is, I also think it's brilliant at the same time. What's even more sad is that it says here that William passed away on March 21st, 2007, but his last drawing was, I think, not even in the 2000s, which kind of insinuates the fact that he's just forgotten completely about art, and so you kind of have to wonder what happened within the next 7 years leading up to the end of his life, and it's just terrible. Okay, so the second image that we have a group of friends here laughing and smiling and looking right at the camera. They seem to be on a bridge here, and they seem to be in uniform, and this is one of those rare group photos that are in black and white where I feel like the group is actually smiling. Most of the time they have a very stoic face. What sucks though is that the types of people that are smiling in this photo, they are all Nazis and nurses. But I actually have a couple of photos here. We have a line of women here. Again, I'm gonna assume that they're nurses. They're all eating, they all look very healthy, and we have a man playing the accordion as well. We have another photo here of officers and the nurses relaxing, having a nice day out, while in the meantime, I mean, looking at the juxtaposition of a relaxing group of people but a Nazi uniform is just horrifying, because you know that these people were just having a great time relaxing while millions of Jews behind them were being exterminated. I remember I did see these photos years ago, and so I kind of wanted to just display that here. Now, going into the same timeline, we're gonna go on to our next photo here. This is another group of people smiling and having fun. No, none of them are Nazis as far as I'm concerned, but they're actually all celebrating a nice little Christmas party. But this obviously doesn't look like it's being celebrated in a normal home. At the last time I checked, I don't think homes come with a tunnel made of metal here, but you can see the top has like Christmas decorations. It doesn't look like a proper feast, does it, for Christmas? I see some cups, I see some scraps of food, and it's a lot of people huddled together. So you may be wondering, what is this photo? This is a group of people in London in, I think, 1944, celebrating Christmas in a bombing shelter. It is a very morbid thing to see, that people are still trying to make the most out of a terrible situation. And I mean, at least it's good to see that these people had some hope left in them, even though they're in this very scary situation. Because I'm sure, especially nowadays, I feel like some people have lost faith in themselves to try and, I guess, find hope in a really broken world. I'm getting really deep here, but when I look at this photo, you know, I kind of think these people were literally living in a time where I think everyone thought at this point that the world was going to end, given what was going on. And so even then, they still managed to throw together a nice little party for everyone to enjoy. The next photo here, this is super morbid, and I actually just came back from the Philippines. But we have a family photo here taken in the Philippines. I believe this photo was taken in the capital, Manila, and it's New Year's Eve, which is even more morbid because I just celebrated New Year's Eve in Manila. Now, you may not think much of this photo, but let me just zoom out. Oh my god, this photo. Okay. I still get goosebumps looking at it too. Okay, so the man that took this photo, his name is Ronaldo Dagsa, and he was a Filipino politician, and he was celebrating New Year's with his family, and he is very well known as the politician who was able to take a photo of his own death. So this man over here to the left, his name is Arnel Buenaflor, and it says here that he was associated with a gang in the Philippines. He essentially went there to assassinate the cameraman, and he succeeded. So Ronaldo actually did go to the hospital, but because he was shot in the head, he unfortunately passed away. And the one who assassinated him was arrested, but it seemed like he had no remorse for it. So as far as the motive goes, I mean, this was a politician that he was shooting at, so I'm sure it was something political. But over here to the right too, now I'm gonna guess that this is one of the relatives, but he's looking literally right at the killer to know what happened afterwards. It's horrifying. Okay, so for our next photo. Now, I'm sure that this case was pretty big, especially in the US, and especially amongst true crime people who are familiar with this photo, but this man is named Travis Alexander, and he is actually the victim. Now, this woman's name is Jodi Arius, and she is the ex-girlfriend of Travis Alexander, the man that you just saw in the previous photo. And she is in jail with a life sentence without parole for killing Travis Alexander. Now, the reason I put this in here is because her case is so infuriating and insane because of just how much of a compulsive liar she is, no matter how much proof that the team had on her. Definitely look up her case if you're someone that likes true crime. She took this photo, and then literally right after this photo, she stabbed him 27 times, slit his throat, and shot him. I can't remember if it was that in exact order, but those are all the things that she did. She was an obsessive ex-girlfriend that just couldn't take rejection well. He didn't want her back, and so she did what she did. It was pretty prominent evidence when they were able to recover not only this photo, but actually there's another photo of Travis on the ground of his bathroom dead with his throat slit. Even with that hardcore evidence, she still had the guts to say it wasn't me. To be honest, I really feel like I never wanted to throw someone off a building more than her when I was watching this. Okay, so the next photo, this one's a little bit more disturbing to look at, so I apologize, but we have two Chinese citizens here with a disease called leprosy. to be honest, this is the only photo of leprosy that I've ever seen. I've heard about it, and in China alone, leprosy existed for almost 2,000 years. Now, it's a slow-growing bacteria that essentially just destroys your skin and also your nervous system. And the thing that a lot of people didn't understand at the time was that this was not contagious. But those who were ignorant enough to not listen to the doctors or the news at the time just ostracized these people. These people were completely shunned by their communities because of the way that this bacteria made them so disfigured. And so I never saw what leprosy actually did to a human being up until I saw this photo, so I just thought it was kind of important to show on camera. Now, I say it's disturbing to look at, but now with that background information, it's just a really sad set of circumstances because it wasn't these people's fault. So now all that we're left with as far as the disease goes is just photos like this. Okay, so for our next photo, we have a man here that is really deeply submerged underwater in what looks like a very dark and tight space. Now, this looks almost like a basement, but I don't really think so. But those are doors, or what looks like doors in the background, and that looks like some sort of like dog bowl floating up. And the name of this man is Harrison Okene, who became what's called an accidental aquanaut in 2013 when he survived more than 60 hours at the bottom of the ocean by breathing through an air pocket. Okay, I didn't get through I didn't get that far when I was looking this up. 60 hours? I thought it was like 48. And I thought that this was just like a little boat. I didn't think it was at the bottom of the ocean. Okay, hold on. Well, let's just read this. In 2013, the 29-year-old Nigerian cook was working on board a tugboat when it capsized in heavy seas. They were about 32 kilometers off of the Nigerian coast at the time of the incident. The ship eventually settled 30 meters down on the seabed, upside down. Everyone drowned except Okene.
Okay. That's horrible. All right, you found one, yeah? He's alive. He's alive. Okay, keep him there. Keep him there. Fucking hell. I don't know what we're gonna do now. All right, just keep him there and keep him calm, okay? Okay.
I was there, keep on praying. When I prayed for some time, I stopped. And I said, God, let that will be done as it is in heaven, because I have tried my best. And I have called on you, and you have never failed me before. And you will never fail me at all in my life. So as I said that, to me, if death comes, let it comes. If death did not come, I know he's going to rescue me.
Oh my God. Oh, I have chills, dude. I have chills. What a successful survival story. But oh my God, he must have been so terrified. I mean, I know he could breathe, but there must have been some like complications by him being underwater for that long, right? Like, the next challenge was getting Okene safely to the surface, because after such a long time at depth, Okene had absorbed potentially fatal amounts of nitrogen. Bringing him suddenly to the surface would induce a deadly attack of the bends. Definitely. That's dangerous. This guy is literally living in an air pocket. The fact that all that happened was that he lost consciousness is honestly a miracle, because I feel like you could easily die. Sorry, I'm going into like more scientific things because like that's what was on my mind this entire time, was just how the fuck do you live in an air bubble for that long with no food? It does say here though, when he was brought to the surface, he spent 2 days in a decompression chamber. He suffered from peeling skin, reoccurring nightmares, and insatiable hunger. This happened in 2013, but what was crazy is that even though despite this happening, he actually became a certified commercial diver in 2015. What a great story. God. Can I just end the video there? Like, do I have anything more? No, I don't. Oh, no, it's the last photo. No, I don't want to talk about this. I was really feeling motivated in life, and now this next one. Okay, we're just gonna do it. I'm just gonna do it. Okay, so we have a photo here. The man on the left, his name is Carl Tanzler, and he's holding a photo of a woman named Elena Helen Milagro de Hoyos. I'm just going to say Elena and Carl for now. Carl is holding a photo of Elena, and in case you're wondering, no, Elena is not his wife. Carl had remembered that throughout his childhood, he always dreamed of a dark-haired woman that was believed to be the love of his life. And when he grew up and he went to this hospital, the woman woman in the picture, Elena, was apparently the exact embodiment of that woman that he pictured in his childhood. So from then on, he fell infatuation with her, but she had more priorities, such as trying to get rid of tuberculosis. She did pass away, and her family then buried her in a tomb and had a personal funeral. Carl Tanzler then goes to her tomb and then takes her body out and mummifies it, and then places it on his bed and sleeps with it for an X amount of time until he is caught by the police. And it is just so weird and so disturbing. Okay, so I have a photo of the woman who's mummified, and it's very uncanny valley, so viewers beware if that kind of stuff like freaks you out. But here it is. I can't even look at it. Like, it's so, I really don't like Uncanny Valley. I really don't. I hate to give a compliment here, but I just gotta say, he did a pretty good job. That looks pretty solid if that was his first time. Sorry, I know that was like a dark compliment to give, but I just thought to say it. Yeah, so authorities found that the tomb was empty, and eventually he was caught. And what they found on the mummified woman was that there was a paper tube in her genitalia, and they suspect that that was his way of making access easier to do it. Quite literally, this is a corpse bride. It is said, though, that even after all of that, he actually made like a full-size wax body figure to her likeness. I don't know why that wasn't the first thing he thought of. I don't know why he thought to go and grave dig a human body out and mummify it and think that he could just get away with it and think that that was okay. I have chills, dude. I have goosebumps. I look like a freaking fresh turkey out of the freezer. Well, it's 1 a.m. I have to go to bed now. Isn't that great? So that was all of the, I guess we want to call them cursed images of this video. I have another video where I went over some more historical cursed images as well, if you guys want to go check that out. But appreciate you guys for watching. Sleep well tonight, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!